As you can see at this time of day, the sun out here will rip the hide right off of you. Got some wind blowing my monopod here. We're camped right down in here. There's a little tiny forest, just a little tiny area that it's shady, it's got water. This is why you take a tripod, not a monopod. It's shady down there, it's got water, it's got everything we need to spend the night. There's fuel, water, shade, and it's a relatively good place. It's relatively bug-free. Right now is the buggy time of the year, and it hasn't been raining. The rain stopped early this year. Just to show you where I'm planning on going later this afternoon when the sun goes down a little bit. Up here I've got this little hanging valley. If you've ever read the Lewis L'Amour stories, it's always the cowboy gets wounded and he goes up, up into the mountains and finds a little hanging valley, and he's got water and fuel and game and everything he needs to survive. And I think that's part of the survival fantasy, that people think that they can do that. And maybe back in the Old West there was enough game to do that, but it's one of those things that it's part of the fantasy of survival, is to be able to go off by yourself and just handle things on your own. Out here in the Cerrado, there is very little to eat. There's just not a whole lot of food out here, and even if you really are good at the plants and things like that, right now in rainy season the plants are fruiting and things are blooming, and it's a little bit easier, but there's just not a whole lot of stuff out here to eat. Imagine if there was game and you could hunt it. There are things out here, but there's not a whole lot of animal life. You don't see deer. There are reptiles. One of the easiest sources of food to find out here are lizards, and there are lizards that live out here that are quite large. And if you're going to hunt lizards, you always pick up 2 rocks, because a lizard, especially, well, the only lizards I've ever hunted with rocks are here in central Brazil. But if you pick up 1 rock and you throw it, what's going to happen? If you miss, that lizard's going to run a few feet, turn around and look at you again. So you always pick up 2 rocks when you're going to hunt lizards, because you will get a second chance. So you throw that first rock and immediately you grab the second rock to throw, because he's only going to run a few feet. I used to get him with the air rifle out here all the time. If you miss with the air rifle, the same thing happens. They run a few feet, they turn and look, and you get a second shot. So if you were quick on the reload with the air rifle, you could definitely nail them on the second shot. The lizards out here, even the small ones, have enough meat to make it worth the while to throw a rock at them, and they are all over. If you come in the morning, usually they'll climb out of the rocks. They're trying to get that morning sun and get warmed up. Right now, at the heat of the day, you won't find them in the rocks. They're always down below, and they're trying to stay away from the sun out here is really hot, and they don't like that. But in the evening, they'll come back out. So morning and evening, you can catch lizards if you pick up 2 rocks. Never hunt a lizard with 1 rock in your hand. Always pick up a couple rocks. You always get that second shot at a lizard. There are also snakes out here, and you can find rattlesnakes and different things. The reptiles are the quickest source of meat you're going to find out here in the Cerrado to survive on. I have eaten lizards out here. They're not the tastiest things in the world. There's not a whole lot of meat, but if you get a good sized lizard, it's like catching a frog. All the meat's in the back legs and the base of the tail, and it fries up. It's kind of dry and bland, nothing really offensive, but nothing to write home about. But it's food, it's protein. In season out here in the Cerrado, there are fruits and things that you can find, but the seasons tend to come and go very quickly, and only for part of the year. So the rest of the year, you're just basically starving out here. There's grasses, and you can eat some of the grass seeds and the tips off the grasses and things, and there are a few other plants. If you get down into areas where there's water, you will find other edible plants. But there's not a whole lot to eat out here in the desert country, out in the open country. It's sparse. There's just not much here. In terms of even animals like gophers and groundhogs and things like that, you just don't find them. I've seen like 3 in all my time, 15 years of messing around out in the Cerrado. I've only seen a couple of mammals other than cattle. There's cattle that roam these hills. Yeah, not a whole lot to eat out here, so you better be prepared. You better bring some food with you if you're coming to the Cerrado. And that's the kind of little guy you can get with a rock. Alright, I'm coming down through these rocks, right? I get to right here, step down on this, which looks like it's all attached right here. And check this out. What a death trap. It's too heavy for me to tip over. I'm not going to mess with it, but man, what a dangerous thing. last night we came through here, and this is a termite mound, and you can see this section here, which is all dark and bulged out. This is a new addition, and last night when we were here, you could see this is all covered with termites building this section up. They bring it up from the inside and they keep adding to the outside. This is all honeycombed with little passages for the termites to move through. Now, termites are not something you want to mess with at night. When these termites decide they're going to eat, they'll spread out in this grass, and they'll cut the grass and they'll bring it all in here. And you don't want to get in with termites. They will bite you immediately. But in the daytime, they run away from the sun. So I'm gonna put a little hole in this and show you what's in there, and how the termites that are there will just probably disappear if we find any there. See how soft this is. See these termites, and they just disappear. They do not like the sun at all. Now I've attacked their little nest, and rather than swarming out and defending it, they can't handle the sun, so they just disappear. They just run right back in. He's looking for a way out, one little guy, and down they go. You see the rest of this is nice and hard. This stuff turns into concrete. This new growth stuff is still soft, but the old one is like concrete. We're making some lunch here. Actually, I've been off filming, and Giuliano and Adriano are here making lunch. What are you making? What do you got in that pot? Some that's for me, right?
Well, come on. This is for me and my brother, and you can go make your hamburgers there. Okay,
I can eat canned sardines, that's it?
All right. No, go for your American hamburgers. You're an Americano. Okay, now I'm not joking. What we got here is some type of traditional Brazilian bush.
Well, pick it up and show them.
Hold on a second.
Can you?
Yeah.
It's too hot.
No. I've bushcrafted a way to do that. Hold on. So this is a basic mix of beans, which we call tropeiro beans or feijão tropeiro, which has beans, obviously, some type of cassava flour. It's a mix, actually, of cassava flour and some other stuff. And a whole lots of sausages, actually linguiças, that we sliced and fried in the bacon fat that we had here. Now we're going to add a little, what do you call that, bacon skin, Mac?
It's like fried bacon skin, yeah.
Yeah, fried bacon skin here. And right after that, I'm going to make some rice, and we are going to have a decent traditional Brazilian feijão tropeiro, which is some kind of bush meal we got.